This episode is part of our Australian India Pale Ale series. Today's beer is Pirate Life Imperial India Pale Ale. Hello and welcome to Beer Australia Reviews, and today we will be sampling, tasting and reviewing some Pirate Life Imperial India Pale Ale. Now, Pirate Life is a relatively new microbrewery from Adelaide in South Australia, and the brewery was established as recently as 2014, and this Imperial India Pale Ale was one of the first beers that the company produced when they first opened. And now, an Imperial India Pale Ale is just like a stronger in alcohol version of an India Pale Ale, and an India Pale Ale was originally just a stronger version of a Pale Ale. And what was found was they were exporting the beer from England to India during the days of the Raj a few hundred years ago, and this was on sailing ships before refrigeration was developed and things. So it was found that if they increased the strength of the beer itself, so stronger in alcohol, and make it a more robust beer with additional malts and then additional hops, then the beer had a better chance of getting it all the way to India without spoiling, because the sailing ships used to sail from the UK down across the equator, around the Horn of Africa, around the Cape, around Cape Town in South Africa, and then north through the Indian Ocean all the way to India. So they would go through multiple different climatological zones and stuff, and the chance of the beer spoiling between England and India was high, but they found that they had better results just by having stronger beer. Now, Pirate Life has actually established itself quite quickly as one of the top microbreweries across Australia, and in fact this particular beer a couple of years ago was voted the best beer in Australia. I think that was in that was in 2018. So they've obviously are doing the right thing if they can get that sort of an accolade so quickly. So now about this beer. So this is much stronger than many of the average type of pale ales, or India Pale Ales. So your India Pale Ales might be around 5.5%, but this one is 8.8%. So it's definitely a super strength type of a beer. So this one has an original gravity of 1077, and as you can see, it's a big can as well, 500ml can. So let's have a read of what it says on the website. So from the Pirate Life website: American hops give wafts of tropical fruit, and malt toffee dominates the nose, with lifted notes of resinous pine, more resinous pine. Now, when I first tried this particular beer, you see the colour of the can, you see the fact that it's an 8.8% one, and despite the fact that I know it's a pale ale, I was expecting this one to be a dark beer. So it was quite a surprise when I poured the thing out and I went, oh yeah, it's a pale ale. Duh. Okay. Now, the thing what this reminds me of more than any other beer, though, I mean, it's not exactly the same style, it's different, but it's a bit like the Duvel beer from Belgium, because the Duvel beer comes out at like 8.5%, but it just tastes like a standard type of lager that's just a little bit maltier. I mean, it's got more depth to it, the Duvel, than just that. I'm doing it a disservice, but this one is of a similar style to the Duvel, so light in colour, relatively light in flavour, considering the fact that other types of super strength beers have like extra malt and stuff and extra malty flavours. But the pale colour and the strength of it just reminds me of Duvel completely. Now, okay, let's have a look at this one. And yeah, okay, so it's from Adelaide. I've not tried many South Australian beers, but I did like this one when I tried it, so let's put this up for review. Okay, so Pirate Life. Now, is this 500 ml all going to fit inside this can? Ooh, aroma. Oh, malt. I'm not going to tempt fate. I'll finish that one off later. Okay. Oh, wow. Look at that. The aroma that's coming off that thing is really intense. We have multiple different layers of bubbles. There are some larger bubbles. There are tiny bubbles all the way through the thing. The head is like it's like a light foam, large, very large bubbles in the foam. Not a dense head at all. Oh, look at the yeah, bubbles are still coming through. Now, what does it say we should expect on this one? It says American hops give wafts of tropical fruit and malt toffee dominate the nose. I think this is probably going to be the first beer I've tried recently where you could actually detect the toffee. A lot of the pale ales, forget about the India pale ales, but a lot of the pale ales say that they have notes of caramel and toffee, and I don't detect it. But this one with the additional malt that's in this, that's been added in, I can smell it already. I'm getting sort of a toffee caramel sort of a thing. Okay, so let's have a go. Oh, yep. Okay, tropical toffee, banana toffee. Oh, oh, that's got heavy malt. It's very thick as well compared to a pale ale, and also compared to the other types of India pale ales. I like strong beers. I like all the Belgian beers, like I said before, like the Duvel, the Chimay, and the other Trappist Monk beers and things like that. I also like the German strong beers, like the Doppelbock and things. So this is right inside the type of beer what I really enjoy. It's got a tang on the roof of your mouth. It's got a deep flavour. There's a sweetness underneath it, but it's another one of those beers where you get both the sweet and the sour in the same mouthful. So it's slightly dry on the tongue. There's there's not a lot of citrus in this one. Oh, but it's a dry malt on the tongue flavour that dominates in this one. So let me see if I can get the what did it say? Tropical fruits and malt toffee. I think the taste reminds you of toffee more than the smell does. So it's got a really nice aroma. It's not particularly floral, this one. I don't know how many hops they put into this one. I presume they put a huge amount of hops in, and but because of the fact that it's an extra malted beer, that overtakes the hop notes for to a certain extent. Okay, so this is quite a heavy beer on the tongue because of the extra strength, because of the extra sugar that went into the thing to make the beer, uh, to make the yeast ferment it for and produce more alcohol. They've got to add in the sugar in the form of malt to get it to do that one, and that is retained in the beer. I've had a few beers which have 8% volume, which are lighter than that when it comes to the sugary part of it, but it definitely has like this caramel feeling to the beer. Um, so I really like this beer. I like the style of beer. I will. seek out more Imperial India Pale Ales to try them, based on just trying this one. So, Pirate Life Imperial India Pale Ale. Yeah, so Pirate Life, you've done a good job of producing these beers in such a short time. It's another one of these beers where the quality of the ingredients and the quality of the manufacture just comes through overall. I can recommend this beer to anyone, despite the price. It's got a chunky price. This one has, I think it was about $14 a can or something or other for a 500 ml can. Yeah. Yeah, that's the price of beer in Australia. Right. If you're not from Australia, you do not know what the pain of buying your own beer is until you've actually spent your own Australian dollars on beer. Oof, the prices. Anyways, oh, look at that. So we've still got the same amount of bubbles coming in this one. The overall, it's full of bubbles all the way through, but we've got a few trains of bubbles coming from the bottom of the glass that are keeping the the little bit of the head turning over a touch. So some of the pale ales I've had recently, by this point, even just a few minutes in, had lost some of their sparkle, but this is retaining every bit of the sparkle. So this one is, for the strength of it, an 8.8% in a 500 ml. It's going down a little bit too easy. Oh, sweetness now. It's got a strong bitterness at the back, sweetness on the tongue and bitterness on the back, and now I'm getting like a bitter citrus on there. Yeah, I hesitate to say the word grapefruit. It's got a citrus. Yeah, possibly even a little bit of lime, but it's. Oh, let me try this some more, because the character of this is actually changing as I'm drinking the thing. Okay, sharpness on top, a lot of sugary malt, but it's still a dry taste. Oh, this is an interesting beer. It's got multiple levels. This one has. Now I've just had a really citrusy peel sort of a flavour come through on that one. This is good. I think I'm actually going to end this one right now and finish this beer off. If I start drinking any more of this 8.8% beer, I'm going to start slurring my speech. So, Pirate Life Imperial India Pale Ale. Yeah, I can really recommend it. Thanks for watching.